Hello and welcome to our payroll course overview. Here, we'll cover all the steps you'll need to follow in order to start using TaxDome to help you handle your payroll work. Before we get started though, I do want to mention that we have a full TaxDome Academy course that includes step-by-step guides for everything I'm about to show you and more. So if you want to follow our guide, then please check out the course. Now, let's get into this overview. Here's what we'll cover. We'll start by focusing on setting up your payroll clients in TaxDome, meaning how to get them into TaxDome, categorizing your client types, and setting up their folder structure. Then, we'll get right into preparing your processes for all the work that you'll have to do. And lastly, we'll go over the different ways to collect and interact with your client's documents. As you can see, we have a lot to cover, so it's best to jump right into it. Before you get your clients into TaxDome, you will want to do some prep work beforehand to make the import itself easier and avoid having to spend extra time on adjustments later on. The first thing that you'll want to handle are the tags. You can find them in the Tags tab in your settings page. Tags will help you organize your clients into different groups based on their type, schedule, service, or anything else that you might differentiate your clients by. You'll be able to filter your clients list by tags, and they'll also allow you to be more flexible with your automations. But we'll talk about that a bit later. One common thing that you'll want to have for all your payroll clients is a general payroll tag. This way, if you provide other services besides payroll, you'll be able to easily filter your clients to find just the payroll ones, regardless of their other tags. You can create as many tags as you need, and you can apply multiple to each client account. I'll make a couple here for the various payroll schedules I'm handling. After I have my tags ready, I'll want to turn my attention to the folder templates. Go to the Templates tab in your settings and then head to the Folders subtab. Here, you'll be able to create folder structures that you can apply to your clients. You can apply them either as you're importing the clients or at a later point. But let's set this up before we start importing the clients. By default, you'll have these three folders, but you can customize them and their subfolders. This template will be for my monthly payroll clients, so I'll want to add folders for the documents they'll upload each month. To make a folder, click on the Create Folder button, but to make a subfolder, click on the three dots on the right of a folder, and then hit New Folder. Just keep in mind that the main folders have different privacy rights. You'll be able to tell which ones by hovering over the icons on the right of them, since that will bring up a bubble that tells you what the icon means. Now, depending on your needs, you might need more than just a template for the monthly payroll folders. If that's the case, go ahead and create ones for any other types that you might need, like weekly payroll, or even something like a combined folder template for tax and payroll, which includes all the folders that you would need for both. So that way, you don't need to apply them separately. To loop back for a second, if you tag your clients to indicate the service type, in this case whether they're weekly, monthly, or any other type, then you'll be able to filter your list later and apply the appropriate folder templates to them in bulk. Next up, let's talk about how you'll bring over all your client information when you import them. In TaxDome, you're able to create custom fields for your accounts and contacts. What this means is that you can include anything ranging from social security numbers to additional phone numbers, company size, custom names, and anything else you might need. Just go to the Custom Fields tab in your settings and create fields for any information you want to bring over. The great thing about them is that any information you have as custom fields can be used as shortcodes. So you'll be able to enter those shortcodes in templates, and when you send them to clients, those will be replaced with each client's own information. Once you have both your account and contact custom fields set up, you can start focusing on the client import. While you can import all your payroll clients in one big spreadsheet and then categorize them afterwards and apply the right folder templates in batches, we recommend splitting them into multiple spreadsheets depending on which service you provide for them. This is because during the import process, you're able to directly apply tags and folder templates to everyone you're about to import. As you can see on the screen right now, I have my spreadsheets ready, but if you need help formatting your spreadsheet, We have full guides available for that, so make sure to check those out. If your spreadsheets are ready, then go to the Clients page in your portal, click on the Import button, and upload the first one. You'll have to select which information from your spreadsheet is going to be used for which fields in TaxDome. This is where you will be able to pick the custom fields you made earlier, so make sure to match your spreadsheet columns to the correct TaxDome fields. After you do that, continue to the next step. This is where you'll adjust the settings for all the accounts you're about to import. The toggles at the top determine whether your clients will have access to the portal, if they'll be able to receive emails and email notifications, and if you want all your email conversations to be shown in TaxDome. I recommend keeping all 3 of them on, but keep the invitation checkbox underneath unticked. You'll be able to invite them in bulk at a later point. Under these settings, you'll be able to choose the tags and folder templates you'll apply to these accounts, and also who from your team will be assigned to them. Choose the appropriate ones and then continue to the next step. You'll have to match the contact information now the same way you did for the account information. This is the last step of the import process, so once you're done, click on Continue, check the preview, and then hit Start Import once you're ready to get them into TaxDome. If you followed the extra steps and you applied both the tags and folder template, you won't have any extra work to do to set up these clients. Here's one of the monthly clients I just imported. And in his profile, or more specifically the Info tab, I see the address and the first name custom fields I used, as well as the tags I applied. Besides that, if I go to their Documents tab, I'll see that the folder template I selected during the import was also applied. So this client already has the correct folder structure. After it's done importing everyone, follow the same steps for any other spreadsheets that you might still need to import. And then, get ready to focus on your workflows. Now that you got your payroll clients imported, let's talk about what you'll learn in the next few minutes. You will learn how to use tasks in order to digitize your processes. You will also learn how to use pipelines for the same purpose. Afterward, we'll go over how to set up recurring jobs, as well as how to handle clients that have different pay schedules. Once we're done with that, we just need to cover how to make adjustments depending on your client types, and lastly, we'll learn how to onboard your new payroll clients. Just as a reminder, everything that I'm showing you here will be covered in much more detail in the full TaxDome Academy payroll course, so make sure to check that out. Alright, let's get to work. The most simple and straightforward way you can handle your recurring processes is through our recurring tasks. You can set up whole recurring processes through pipelines, but if you want to keep it basic, you can also just use the recurring tasks I just mentioned, since they don't require much prep work. Depending on your needs, you can approach this in a couple of ways. For example, you can just create a blank recurring task and have the assigned team member fill in all the details and subtasks themselves, or you can enter those subtasks yourself as you're creating the recurring tasks, or even better, you can make a task template so that you can reuse it in the future either for other clients or as part of your pipelines. Here's an example of a task template I have. You can see the basic details like the task name, the assignee, and due date here on the left, and on the right you can see the subtasks I added. You can create these by going to the Templates tab in your settings under the Tasks subtab. You can either make some from scratch or copy ones from our library and then edit them to suit your needs. Once you have it, just click on the plus new button here on the left, then click on Task and choose the client that you want to set the task up for. This page that you see now looks similar to the one where you saw my task template. So you can either manually enter the details again, or if you click on the template field, you can select the template you already made and it will carry over all of its details. You can of course still make changes here which won't affect the template itself. The main thing that you will want to do is turn on the repeat toggle and then set how often you want it to recur and also up until when. After you're done with that, click on the Create Task button and you're done. the assigned team member will be notified and you'll be able to keep an eye on all tasks by going to the workflow page and then the tasks tab. From here, just set the view to all tasks instead of assigned to me. Now that you know how to work with tasks, let's see the alternative option I mentioned earlier, the pipelines. If you're not sure if you should use pipelines instead of recurring tasks to handle your payroll processes, then let me pitch it to you. You can automate a lot of the steps like sending organizers and messages. Any elements or files can be linked to the client's job, which makes them easy to find for your whole team. You get to see the whole picture and easily keep up with every client's status. It will give you an easy way to see all jobs related to a specific service without needing to filter your lists. Plus, you can also use your calendar view as well, of course. And lastly, you can have tasks automatically created and assigned to whoever is responsible for a job. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, let's see how to set this up. The easiest starting point is to copy our ready-to-use payroll pipeline from our template library. You can find it in the Pipelines tab of your settings page. Once you copy it, you can freely edit all of its details, stages, and automations. You'll realize that editing it is quite intuitive. You can simply drag the stages to reorder them, click on the plus buttons to add new ones, and click on the Add or Edit Automation buttons to customize what will happen in each stage. And since we're here, let's also set up a schedule for the pipeline so that you wouldn't have to use the recurring tasks. You'll see the section titled Default Recurrence up here in the top right. Make sure the toggle is enabled and then set up the schedule you want to use. So for example, set it to monthly, and then pick the start date for when you wanted to create the first batch of jobs for your payroll clients. You'll also want to set up a default job template, since that determines the name, assignee, priority, and other details of all the jobs that will be automatically created. You'll likely know the drill for templates by now. Go to your settings, then the Templates tab, and open the Jobs subtab. If you remember, I mentioned that the custom fields you made can be used as shortcodes in templates. This is one example of that. I can add shortcodes to the name of the job. So for example, I can add the current month shortcode, and then write payroll, and maybe even add an account name shortcode. This way, all the recurring jobs will have the same name format, but I'll still be able to easily identify and differentiate them at a glance. And by the way, you can also link wiki pages to your job template. This way, the wiki page itself will be accessible from the jobs, and your team members won't have to look for your instructions. Once you got your template set up, go back to your pipeline and just make sure to select the template you made as the default one. Afterwards, it's time to add your clients to the schedule. Open the pipeline, click on Manage Recurrences, then on Add Accounts, and from here, you'll be able to add anyone you want. If you tagged your clients like we discussed earlier, then first of all, good job, and second, you'll be able to use filters even here and find all clients that have a specific tag. So for example, I can filter by the monthly payroll tag and then add everyone at once. As you can see, it shows me the next date it will create jobs for everyone on this list right here. Now, you may wonder what to do in case not all your clients follow the same schedule. And there's a pretty simple solution to that. If the process remains the same but only the recurrence schedule is different, then you can adjust it right here in the same menu. If I tick some of the boxes next to my client names and then click on Recurrent Settings, I'll be able to adjust the schedule for just the clients I selected. This even allows me to choose different assignees or another job template. I'll save my changes, and now you'll see that the clients I selected earlier have a different start date here. You can also extend the use of this if your weekly, quarterly, or whatever other type of payroll clients follow the same process. You can add them all to the same pipeline, but just set up different recurrence schedules for them. As I said, a pretty simple solution. Okay, so that solves one potential problem. But if your processes aren't exactly the same for your different payroll client types, then you'd run into another hurdle, right? What if your tasks or messages are different for weekly and monthly clients? No worries, we got a way to help you with this as well. Let's go back to the drawing board with this. The first thing you'll want to do is make templates for everything you need for each client type. So take some time and create all the task, message, organizer, and other templates you want. Afterwards, head back to your payroll pipeline settings. What I'll introduce you to now are an exceptionally useful tool called conditional automations. They allow you to run certain automations for the appropriate client groups, and let me show you exactly how they work. I'll click on Edit Automations in this stage to open up the menu where I can make changes to them. I already have one task template here that I need for my monthly clients. So I'll add another task automation that I want to use for my weekly clients. To prevent the pipeline from triggering both of these automations for each client, I'll set up some conditions. I'll click here on the Add Condition button, and I'll get to choose any tag. I'll pick the monthly payroll tag for this automation, and then apply the weekly payroll tag for the other task automation I added a moment ago. You can see that both automations now say that they only run for the selected tag. This means that if the client has the specific tag applied to them, then the automation will trigger. If they don't have it, then it won't. This means that I can have both client types in the same pipeline and only the relevant automations will trigger for them as long as they're tagged properly. As a quick note, you can also use conditions in the same manner but to pick task templates which would be assigned to different team members. So for example, you have 3 copies of the same task template, but the only difference is the assignee. If you use the conditions, then you could have just one of them be triggered and a new task would be created for the correct team member once the job reaches the stage. We've mostly covered everything I laid out earlier for this section, but there is one more thing left. Let's talk about the onboarding process for your new payroll clients. The easiest way you can handle your new clients will be by setting up a separate pipeline just for onboarding. Here's an example of one. In the first stage of it, I collect information and documents from the new account. Afterward, I review the information and send them a contract as well as an invoice. The organizer that was sent automatically is also automatically linked to the job and can therefore trigger the auto move once the client completes it. But since I'll be manually creating unique contracts and invoices for my clients in the second stage, I will also want to link those to the job. You can do this by opening the job, clicking on the link button in the top right corner, and then selecting what you want to link to it. Once the client signs the contract and pays the invoice, their job will move into the final stage, and I will have a task to add them to the actual payroll pipeline. Your onboarding process might be different, but that's the beauty of TaxDome. You can set up your onboarding pipeline exactly how you want it to be, and once you put a new client through it, you can simply add them to your payroll pipeline. That covers everything you need to know about how to set up your recurring processes in TaxDome. But since we covered a lot in this section, please check our full payroll course for a more in-depth explanation on how you'll be setting everything up. Alternatively, you can also check our Help Center for resources that cover any feature that you'd like to know more about. Alright, good job for following along all the way up to here. In this final section, we will focus on a crucial part of any payroll process: how to get documents from your clients. Let's be a bit more specific. This is what we'll cover: requesting payroll information via messages, how to handle documents sent via email, uploading from your desktop and editing timesheets without needing to re-upload them, collecting documents outside of TaxDome, and lastly, using organizers to collect information and documents from your payroll clients. Home stretch, so let's get right into it. We already talked about how you can have automations in the different stages of your payroll pipeline, but what we didn't talk much about was how you can collect documents with them. Let's use the example of a basic message template. Your clients will be able to directly upload documents into the chat, and anything they upload will be directly saved to their client uploaded documents folder. So what you have to do is just create a message template, preferably with client tasks so that you can stay up to date more easily about their progress. And then add it as an automation to your pipeline. This way your clients will automatically get the message, and once they upload everything you need, their jobs can move forward. This will also help your team keep track of everything related to the client's job, since the message thread will automatically be linked to the job itself. Next up, let's show you how to deal with email attachments. If some of your clients send you documents or timesheets via email instead of through TaxDome, you can still easily place them among the client's other files. Open the email you received through your TaxDome portal, and you'll see the attachments. You can then click on this button to save the attachment to the Docs tab. Alternatively, you can also enable an option in your settings to automatically save all attachments. Either way, you'll easily get the documents into TaxDome, and you'll want to link them to the correct job afterwards so that you and your team can access everything in one place. Now, let's take a moment to focus on uploading and editing timesheets yourself. In cases where you have your client's timesheets on your computer, you can easily get them into TaxDome. For this, I recommend installing the TaxDome desktop application if you haven't done so already. You can find the download button at the bottom of your settings page. After you install it, you'll have access to several useful tools. One of the ways you can get the documents into TaxDome is by right-clicking on the file and then selecting Send to TaxDome. This will cause the desktop app to open up, and you'll be able to select exactly which client you'll upload it for and in which folder. Besides this, you also got a couple additional functions in the same menu, like linking the file to a job instantly. I'll do that, and if I open the job in my portal afterwards, you'll see it linked right here. For this next scenario, we'll mainly focus on the TaxDome drive. Whenever you or your team members are logged into the TaxDome desktop app, you'll be able to open the TaxDome drive from your file explorer. You'll see all your clients as folders, and in them, you'll see their actual folders and files. This means that you can simply drag and drop files or copy and paste them into the drive, and they will be uploaded and synced with your portal. What this also means is that you can edit any files in the drive with your native software. Let's go back to the timesheets example. You cannot directly edit spreadsheets inside your portal, but if you try to open it from your drive, you'll open it like any other file on your computer. So in this case, most likely with Excel. At this point, you or your team members can freely edit it, and once you save it, the new version will replace the old one in TaxDome automatically. All the information is stored in our cloud, so this allows you to keep everything synced without needing to download and then re-upload files. This will save you tons of time, so make sure to familiarize yourself with the desktop app and the drive. We're getting close to wrapping up this overview, so let's focus some more on the other ways you can collect documents from your clients. Normally, all interactions with clients require both you and them to be logged into your respective portals. However, there is one function that allows you to request and collect files from clients without them needing to log into their portal. If you go to their Documents page and click on the three dots on the right of any folder, you'll see an option to request files. If you select that, a new menu will slide out from the right, and there, you will be able to write a message to indicate what you need, and you'll also have an option to send this request via email. If you proceed, a unique link will be generated. This is what it would look like for your clients after they click on it. They'll be able to directly upload documents in this page, and they'll be saved in the specific folder you requested it in. The same method can also be used if you need a third party to upload something and you don't want to give them access to the portal. Now, we reached the final topic we'll talk about here, and that is collecting information and documents through organizers. Earlier, when we talked about pipeline automations, you've seen organizer automations which automatically send organizers to clients. As you can already guess, that means you'll be able to create custom organizer templates and then put them into your pipelines. Even though organizers are most commonly used for tax work, you can still benefit by using them for your payroll processes. Besides them being more convenient than regular PDF forms, the ability for clients to upload documents as part of the filling out process is invaluable. Here are some examples of ways to use them. You can request business documents and company information from new clients before sending them a contract. For existing clients, you can use an organizer to request them to send you similar documents like W-4s and their worked hours every month. You can also use them for year-end surveys to collect some feedback from your clients. Those are, of course, only some of the use cases, so feel free to use them in whatever way you see fit. Let's just quickly go over some technical parts of the organizer to help you manage them. In every organizer template, you'll be able to enable or disable notifications for document uploads with this toggle. If you enable it, you'll always know your client's progress even if they haven't submitted the organizer yet. Another thing to keep in mind is that you can add shortcodes to the organizer names. So I would recommend adding some shortcode like the current month shortcode just to make finding specific ones easier later on. Lastly, as is the case for other automations that require your client to do something, once the organizer is completed, it can cause the client job to move forward into the next stage. This helps you automate your process so you not only collect everything you need, but you also reduce the amount of manual labor you have to do managing the jobs. Okay then, we've reached the end of our payroll overview. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this all the way through and learning how to handle your payment processes with TaxDome. We know that there was a lot of information here, so once more, I'll recommend checking out the TaxDome Academy payroll course, which will guide you through everything we talked about here and more. That will help you tackle everything at your own pace. As a small refresher, you learned how to get ready to import your clients and also how the actual import process works. Then we took some time to go over the different ways you can manage your work, but also how to set up recurrences and even customize them for individuals or groups. And of course, we just finished with a small tour through the different ways to collect and manage timesheets and other documents with TaxDome. I hope that this overview helped you see the potential benefit of using TaxDome for your payroll processes, and that you'll be able to use this knowledge as a starting point to get your firm up and running in a much more optimized manner. From all of us here at TaxDome, thanks again for watching, and we hope you have a wonderful day.